Welcome back, 2020 to 2021 school year. We say welcome back. I am proud and honored to serve as the president of your Board of Education. You got to realize that we are a community and we're here to serve you. We realize that so many of you have faced challenges over the last weeks, over the last months, but celebrate this, that you've overcome those challenges. So as you go into this school year, let it be a school year of possibility. Realize that you're possible and all of your dreams and the accomplishment of them is also possible. So see the possibility not just in some things, but in all things. We salute you, we honor you, and we are excited about being able to see your success and celebrating you in the 2020 to 2021 school year. This is your year, and we look forward to celebrating you. Thank you.
Greetings, Willingboro family, and welcome to the 2020-2021 school year. Although we are experiencing unprecedented times, I hope that you enjoyed your summer and you had the opportunity to spend time with loved ones. Our theme for the 2021 school year is Quality Education, a Community Commitment. One of the most important functions of a community is the education of its youth. I eagerly anticipate the engagement of the strong and dedicated Willingboro community in helping our district prepare students to be 21st century thinkers and learners. This school year will not be normal in any sense of the word, but it will be productive for our students. With the support of our community, we will provide our students with a quality education grounded in rigorous and relevant instruction.
Welcome back, Willingboro.
Welcome back, Willingboro.
Hi, my name is Pletcher, and I'm a partner in the Education Law Practice Group at Florio, Perrucci, Steinhardt, Capelli, Tipton, and Taylor. I'm here as part of the New Jersey School Boards Association virtual convention, and I'm going to be conducting a fireside chat with Dr. Neely Hackett, the Superintendent of the Willingboro Township Public School District, and Mr. Carlos Worthy, the Board President of the Willingboro Township Board of Education. The Willingboro School District is near and dear to my heart because my father and all of his siblings attended school in the district from kindergarten all the way through. And my grandmother also taught in the school district for 25 years as an elementary school teacher. So I'm especially excited and honored to be here with the Willingboro School District today to talk about what school looks like in a pandemic, some of the challenges that are being faced, and how they're getting through these last few months. So before we get started, I'm just going to ask Dr. Hackett and Mr. Worthy to briefly talk a little bit about themselves and their background.
So I'm Dr. Neely Hackett, and thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. And of course, it's always a pleasure to be in the same company as our board president, Mr. Worthy. So I have been the superintendent of the Willingboro Public Schools since April 20th, 2020. So not that long.
You came right during the pandemic.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm also a resident of the township for the past 3 years.
Okay.
Prior to coming to Willingboro, I served in the Irvington Public School District. I was a superintendent for 8 years. Prior to that, I was an elementary assistant principal, a middle school principal, a high school principal, and the assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction. So Irvington is where I spent 23 of my 25 years in education. And so I am just very proud to be a part of the Willingboro Public Schools family, and I'm proud to work alongside of the board president and our board members and the entire community as we all work toward educating our students.
Thank you.
So as always, you know, that's very tough to follow, Dr. Hackett, and we're grateful. So let me say that Dr. Hackett, and we're grateful, we think, and I'm always grateful to have the opportunity to be able to participate in conversations with Dr. Hackett. And also, I'm grateful to be the representative of the Willingboro Board of Education. As myself, I am a Willingboro High School graduate. As you talk about the school system being near and dear to your heart, it's near and dear to my heart. My family's lived in this community for over 30 years, and we continue to contribute. So while I serve as the privilege of being the president of the Board of Education, I also work for the federal government. I serve in this community in several different capacities. I serve as a police chaplain with the Willingboro Police Department. I also serve as a chaplain for the Veterans of Foreign Wars, being a veteran, and I serve as a pastor of a church in Willingboro, New Jersey. And so my community and the commitment to this community is another opportunity that I have to be able to demonstrate what Willingboro means to me, and why it's so important for us to understand that it takes a collective effort to what we're doing. So thank you for the opportunity to the law firm. We are grateful for it, and we're excited for this discussion.
Great. Well, one thing, Dr. Hackett, that you just mentioned that I think is so interesting, just to start us off here, you started in the district as a superintendent in April of 2020. So what was it like coming in when all of your students were home, and the timing of when you started in the district?
It was different, if I can use that word, but the support of the Board of Education, first of all, has been amazing. Anything I need, anytime I need to just talk to any of the board members, especially our board president, he's always available. So that helped with the transition. And then I have a wonderful administrative team, and they really helped me to get acclimated to the district and to learn about the policies and procedures. I was able to meet some of our students on different Zoom calls and Google Meets calls. But I think that the most important thing was the outreach and the communication from the board members, the administrators. A lot of parents reached out to me, and community members. So everyone just came and just welcomed me and just let me know that if anything I needed, that they were just a phone call away. And that really made a tough time bearable, because I knew I had the support.
Right. No, that's huge. And Mr. Worthy, as part of this communication, what have you had to use different strategies with communicating with your board members and the administration as this whole remote life has started?
We did have to definitely utilize a different or more broader approach to communications, realizing that the preferences for our individual members of our community are varied and they're different. And so we wanted to make sure that we had a holistic approach and be able to connect with people where they were most comfortable at. So we had to leverage social media more frequently. We also had to expand upon our email communications and even our broadcasting of our website to realize that it wasn't just a landing space, but it was actually a source of trusted information. And that we had a place that we wanted to make sure had a robust amount of information that people could go to when it was convenient for them, and be able to engage in conversations, be able to understand what we were doing, and then be able to reflect upon the direction that the school district was going. So I'm grateful to Dr. Hackett and her team for being able to expand. She came in, she realized how critical the website would be to our communication, and she revised the website and able to create a much more engaging opportunity through that. And this, I believe it has been beneficial as we looked at our different approaches for communication.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, in this time of uncertainty, you want the community and staff members and students and everybody to feel like they are able to ask and be answered and have access to resources, to just get everybody on the same page when everything is changing from one day to the next. So that is a huge piece of this whole new normal that we're living in. It is the communication.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
So in terms of, still on this communication theme, in terms of motivation though, how, Dr. Hackett, have you been keeping your staff, students, parents, and other members of the district motivated despite the various challenges this year?
So I think our theme, quality education, is a community commitment. I'm hoping that that is one of the motivating factors, to show that everyone should be engaged and working toward educating our students, that the foundational purpose of the school district is to educate our children. And we need everyone to come and circle that foundation and support it. And I'm hoping that's the motivation, that we want to make sure our children are ready to take their rightful place in society, because they do have a rightful place and they need to take it. And we're hoping that that whole community commitment is just kind of energizes everyone to work towards that goal. So I'm hoping that's a strong motivation factor to prepare our students to be 21st century thinkers and learners. But also communication needs to be ongoing, and it needs to be transparent, and it needs to be honest. And I think that that's what we've done. When we've fallen short, we've informed people. When we believe we're doing the right thing, we've informed people. So I think that that's important, to make sure that communication is always out there. We try to communicate with parents regularly through videos and emails, and it's honest. You know, that's important, and it's transparent. You know, this is what we have, this is what it is now, and this is what we're working towards. But here is what it is now. And I think that's important for parents and everyone to know what the current state is, but what we're trying to move towards.
And I totally agree with Dr. Hackett, and she makes a great point. I think when she came and she presented to the board the theme of a quality education being a community commitment, there was not a more appropriate theme for us to have. And what we've been able to do is really show what it looks like to be a community. So by the administration, the cabinet, the teachers, the educators, and the board of education coming together, being supportive of one another, being united in our interests and our concern for our students, and making decisions that were in the best interests of our community, and making sure that we were making informed decisions. I think it communicated and it built trust in a very expedient manner that would not have been the expectations had it not been the pandemic environment. But because we were able to be ahead of where we needed to be and engage in that community approach, I think it built chemistry between all of us that helped us be able to improve our communication, but it also helped us to build trust. And I think that's the most critical element we have in this pandemic that I've seen our district to be able to thrive, is because we've built trust, and then we treasured that trust, and we continue to sustain it. And we continue to not get comfortable in it, but to figure out how can we even increase the trust greater. And Hackett and her team and the administrators at the principals of the schools have just done an exceptional level of effort in being able to accomplish that in a sustainable way.
Have you found that because we are forced to use more technology now, and there are more, video chats, that in some ways, have you heard from staff members that there is, more opportunities to speak to parents, because now you're not having to necessarily make an appointment and come in after work? You can, hey, let me talk to you now. Have you been hearing that there's more opportunities for parents to be involved with staff members in the school day?
I believe so. As far as the central office is concerned, we do have monthly parent workshops. We have about 2 to 3 a month. And prior to the pandemic, parents would come in and we would have it in person. And now we're able to do it online. And the last workshop that I coordinated regarding the reopening plan, we had over 100 parents attend.
Wow.
And so that's wonderful. So parents are able to just log in from home, or if they're at work or visiting, they can just log in from wherever they are and participate. And I think that has been a help, where people don't have to physically come into buildings, but then you also miss that human touch and to be in the same room with someone. And so, so it has its challenges and its strengths, but I would say it has involved more of our parents in our workshops, because they're very well attended. We have one coming up on cleaning protocols, but they've been very well attended. I think it's because they've had that flexibility of being able to be home and engage in the workshop.
Right. And like you said, there is nothing like the personal touch. I mean, even who would have thought that we'd be sitting here like this for the New Jersey School Boards Association convention, doing a virtual Zoom interview right now. So yes, there is nothing like that, but it is so good to hear that it also has opened up some opportunities and flexibilities. And to that point, is there anything else that has come besides the technology, anything else that has come from an adjustment that you had to make because of the current circumstances that has ended up being some sort of benefit or a success story where, you know what, hey, even post-pandemic, I hope we still continue to use that adjustment that we had to make or what we learned from?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Board President, do you want
I
to?
think that one of the items that definitely we found to be beneficial in our communication and the use of technology is the accessibility of our board meetings, community. That has been beneficial, and I've seen a sustained high level of attendance. I think that when we look at how we've had attendance in our board meetings during the pandemic, they are at least double the normal attendance that we have. And the flexibility of leveraging the technology allows people to participate in the meeting when it works best for them. So we have this time where we have the board meeting, but they're able to go back and look at the board meeting or listen to the board meeting to understand it and hear what we are discussing, as well as we had implemented a board docs tool and resource to be able to plan our agendas so the community could see our agendas on that. That helped us facilitate conversations, because if we didn't have that technology, we were really dependent upon you showing up at the meeting to be able to get access to us, to be able to understand what was going on. But it gave us a breadth of a broader approach to the communication because we had this technology. And I think that we've learned more so that this is a great opportunity for us to further improve communication, that we should definitely keep this going forward because our community benefits from it and it meets our community's needs in an impactful way.
Great. No,
absolutely. Absolutely. And the same thing, even with instruction, you know, we always want to be face-to-face whenever we can, but there is now opportunities for summer programs and after-school virtual programs. So this whole pandemic has opened up opportunities to use technology to engage more students at odd times outside of the normal school day. So I think that we're going to capitalize on that as well.
No, yeah, that's great. So what are some of your goals for this virtual and hybrid life this year for your students?
The goal always is to improve academic achievement. So that's what we're aiming towards. We have been very strategic in how we've prepared our staff for virtual learning. We've offered several series of workshops where we just kind of chunk the information. So give them a little information, let them go back and try it, give them a little bit more. So that's how we've presented to the staff members. Although there are still some challenges that we have, of course, we're uncharted waters. I believe as a district, we have really implemented a strong plan. And every day we're making changes and updating it and making revisions based on the needs of the teachers. We're listening to our teachers. And when they indicate that a change is necessary, we go look at it and then we present another option. So I think that communication is important when you're in this virtual world. And so we're just constantly making whatever changes are necessary to continue to improve the way we are offering instruction to our students, the way we're engaging with our parents. And as long as we continue to do that, I believe that our program will even be stronger than it is right now.
Yeah, I think it's great to look at the planning. Like you said, we're in uncharted territory right now. To think of it as a fluid document of how you're doing things, because you know, just getting data and then getting feedback from your teachers, it's so important then to adjust after that and just taking it, you know, one day at a time and what's working and what's not working and just keep going forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I definitely agree. I would just add on that Dr. Hackett and her team, and they've developed a plan and a structure that had flexibility built into it. Critical part of that flexibility is what we keep continually coming back to is the communication. So it's informing the people, reminding them what we said we were going to do, and telling them that we're progressing according to the pace that we said we were going to do. And then when there's conversations and new information brought into the discussion, then we have the flexibility because we have a structure. We have a solid plan that was done and developed with community input. So it was already a collaborative. It was also reflective of many different thoughts that work best based on the goals that we had. And then we're able to, when we're not able to have the flexibility that some people would think we need in the system, then we're able to communicate that from a goal perspective that said, our goal is to achieve this specific element. And because in order to achieve that goal, we may not be able to flex as much as we would want to. We can flex this much. And that helps the conversation because it continues to remind them that everything that we do is focused on what is going to be for the benefit of our children, and be the benefit of our students, that they are able to be better equipped from this educational experience. And I definitely see that reoccurring in the structure that has been established because of the design of our plan and even the goals that we set, being very intentional on our district goals and our school goals and going forward for this particular school year.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Are there any particular staff members that you would like to give a shout out to that have just gone, you know, above and beyond what you even could have expected, or any example of something that really just, again, yes, went above and beyond?
Well, I'm proud to say that if I gave you that list, we would be here for quite a long time. So I'm very proud to say that because we had so many staff members who went beyond expectations during this time. Everyone was so concerned about our students, and there was people who did wellness checks on their own, people who came in over the weekend, Labor Day weekend. You would have thought that the building was open, central office was open, the school buildings, everyone was in getting the last minute arrangements ready. We had people who volunteered to come out, and we had about 9 Chromebook distributions. So people came out, and it went well into the evening. We had a Saturday distribution. I don't think there was one person, and this is from a new superintendent who really didn't know too many people, but I can honestly say I didn't ask one person to do something that they didn't just jump at it and say, absolutely, I'm there. If you sent an email out asking for volunteers, if you checked that email 5 minutes later, I had a ton of people saying, I'll volunteer, I'll volunteer. Wow. So I think that Willingboro is just such a strong community. The school district has such a strong set of staff members who are really committed to our children. And I really believe the sky is the limit because we had so many people who were willing to go above and beyond for our children. And that is, you know, that's priceless.
Oh, yeah.
And I agree. I would definitely recognize, I will never stop saying it enough. Dr. Hackett, the administration or the cabinet, as some people may refer to them, but also the Board of Education. I think the Board of Education face some very unique individual challenges and collective challenges, as we talk about or identified earlier in the conversation that Dr. Hackett came in April this year. So you just think that the Board of Education was going through this superintendent search and going through the process and identifying that along with some of the other challenges and being able to do it. Then people face their own challenges associated with the pandemic. Well, I would say that there is not any member of the Board of Education that I don't think contributes to us going forward and being able to dedicate the time, because there are a lot of meetings associated with operating in the pandemic, of additional committees that go beyond what your normal expectations are. And then it's having the flexibility, because Dr. Hackett works hard. She makes her commitment known. And so when she's putting in the extra time and effort to be able to come up with solutions and come up with plans and ideas, we have to make ourselves flexible as well to have the additional meetings so that we can meet it in a timely manner and be able to and continue to improve upon. So I definitely recognize all of them, and I definitely recognize the teachers and administrators who have been up front, and they've been forward leaning, as I would say from my military days, of able to be the example. They've demonstrated what it looks like to have courage. They've demonstrated what it looks like to succeed in the midst of challenge and not avoiding challenge, because everything that we have been projecting for our students to go, our administrators, our principals, and our teachers have been forward. They've been following that schedule ahead of their transition. And that's been, I think, very beneficial to and build trust and encourage our students.
Absolutely.
And a huge shout out to Dr. Hackett, Mr. Worthy, as you said, that he puts in those extra hours.
Yes.
For our audience, for our virtual audience out there, I'm not sure if Dr. Hackett is ever not working. He responds to emails at all times of the day. He truly is putting in all the extra hours.
Thank you. Thank you.
So yes, your district is very lucky.
Thank you.
Speaking of extra hours, I'm going to do 2 questions. One, what inspires you? And then the other, what keeps you up at night?
Oh,
Wow.
I
That's
know,
very
I
good.
know, Board President.
So I'll say this. I'll jump out first. And so it says, what inspires me? What inspires me is that I came to Willingboro and my family moves here from Northern Jersey. And what I've met in Willingboro was a life transforming experience through the school system. The school system changed my life. It positively put me in a positive trajectory that I've been able to accomplish things that I never even imagined for the opportunity. So what inspires me is that I believe that we have the opportunity to ensure that every student, every child in our school district has that type of experience, that they come into the district. It doesn't matter what the stereotypes may have been placed on them. It doesn't matter labels that may have been placed on them. It may not have been based on their past struggles, that they have an opportunity every day that they show up to have that day to be decisive in shaping a much richer future. So that's what inspires me. It's at the same time what challenges me, because I want to ensure that they have those opportunities, that we don't deny them, that what we've done in the past is never the point where we get comfortable, even in our successes, that we don't say, well, let's just do that last year because it worked well. It says, how can we enhance what we did last year to make it even more impactful, to have a greater impact, and possibly to be even more shaping in what it does for the benefit of our children. So that's what challenges me or causes me to think about what can we do greater is how can their experience be twice as great as mine? And I don't never want to stop until we are able to get that. And then once we get it to the level of being twice as great, how can then we make it 3 times as great? Because I think that we have this responsibility to realize that the future and those that will be responsible for shaping what the future looks like are those that we get to invest in every single day. And those seeds that are planted, those seeds that are watered in our children and our students, of what we get to impact. And I want to be able to make sure that they inspire me, because I believe that no matter what they're facing, no matter what they encounter, greatness is in every single one of them. Every single one of them can go beyond they imagine. And I only know that because that's what Willingboro did for me. And I believe that all of them can have that same impact.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So I'll start off with what keeps me up at night. I think what keeps me up at night is the awesome responsibility that I've been charged with and that I'm so grateful for, that every decision I make, every thought process can impact the child in a positive way and also in a negative way. So I have to make sure that every decision I make is always grounded in students, always grounded in what's in the best interest of students, and never let anything or anyone take me off of that mission. Because I've been given an awesome responsibility. And I say to whom much is given, much is required. And I need to make sure that I am grounding every decision on what's in the best interest of children. Because you can be thrown in different ways, but stay focused. And that's what keeps me up at night. You know, Dr. Hackett, you just have to make sure that everything you do is about children. So every night I reflect on the day. What happened today? What decision did I make? Should I change it? Should I alter it? Should I move forward? And I'm always reflective because children are depending on me. The future is depending on decisions I make, because I am ultimately responsible for educating the children who are going to make a difference in this world. And I have to make sure every decision I make helps a child understand that they are valued and that they have the opportunity to truly make a difference in this world. And so that is what kind of keeps me up at night thinking about this awesome responsibility that I have. And I think what inspires me is that every child can be successful. If anything is possible. And what I try to let students know is through my life, anything is possible. You know, I was born in Newark and grew up in Irvington, and family didn't have a lot of money. You know, I couldn't get the new school clothes, and sometimes food, wasn't always readily available. And my mother always taught me that the value of an education is the ultimate, is the great equalizer. And so I want every child to know that I sit in the seat of superintendent because anything is possible. As long as you work hard and stay committed, you can do and be anything. And that inspires me to make sure that message gets to each and every student who I encounter. You can do and be anything as long as you set your goals, stay focused, work hard. When you're tired, pick yourself up, push a little more, and keep going. But you can do anything as long as you work hard. And that's my inspiration.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Nice.
I think we have to end here.
Wow.
I mean, those were both such uplifting answers in this time of uncertainty that I think we just ended here with that. I feel inspired now.
Well, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity. It was a wonderful opportunity, so thank you.
Oh, yes. It was so great to have both of you. And I'm glad that we now will have this recorded and posted on our website for the School Boards Association Convention so that everybody can listen and hear everything that you both talked about today, which was so nice to hear.
Thank you. Thank
you.
you. Pleasure.
We definitely appreciate it.
Yes. So thank you again, and happy School Boards Association Convention. And I'm sure I will talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day.